Valdespard here with Tom Dunkel. And Tom, could you share briefly kind of your current role? I know you probably got multiple things going on, but current role, things you're focused on, and a brief history of your career.
Wow, yeah, sure, Val. So great to be with you today. Thanks for the opportunity. Yeah, so I'm Tom Dunkel. I'm the Chief Investment Officer at Belrose Storage Group. We've acquired about $50 million of self-storage over the past 4 or 5 years across about 8 states. And prior to that, I've been in and around real estate for 18 years doing deals since I left corporate America. We've been doing distressed mortgage debt deals. We've done short-term rentals, hard money lending, but really, we really love self-storage, and I'll get into more of that later. But going back even a little further, I was a mergers and acquisitions guy in corporate America in the aerospace industry. So was surrounded by some really amazing people, Harvard MBAs, Wharton MBAs. Ex-fighter pilots, ex-astronauts, and so it was a really amazing environment to kind of learn the nuts and bolts of mergers and acquisitions and financial transactions, kind of from the ground up. So that's about as short as I can give you my
Yeah,
almost 30-year history, Val.
yeah. I'll have to pick your brain offline about that because my son is getting into aerospace engineering, so
Cool.
kind of neat to see his passion for that.
Yeah,
So
terrific.
cool. So how did you jump from M&A to real estate?
Well, I'd always wanted to do something on my own, but when you're in corporate America, you kind of got the golden handcuffs. My career was going pretty well. It was kind of hard to make that leap. So that decision was made for me in 2006 when I got fired from my corporate finance job. And
Yeah.
so to me, that was just the signal that, okay, this is it. This is my opportunity to go do my thing. And so that was 2006, about 18 years ago. So I've just been, kind of grinding. Was battling through the Great Recession there for a while. Found like I mentioned, we've been in different asset classes along the way, and now in self storage. But it's
Yeah.
just been a really fun journey. It's been a challenging journey, but a rewarding journey, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah. And so right now you're focused on self-storage acquisitions and ground up development. Is it both?
Primarily, we are acquiring existing facilities that are not
Yeah.
being run well, but we are starting to dabble in some areas where we will need to build ground up. We've got a couple of niches within the self-storage niche that we're looking at that I'd be happy to dive into.
Yeah. So you mentioned 8 states that you guys are currently in terms of holding assets. Are you looking, is there geographical areas, you don't have to share too much, but are there areas that you like more than others?
Sure. I mean, we're following the demographic trends, just like other commercial real estate asset classes. Multifamily, short-term rentals. Build to rent. Those kinds of asset classes, including self-storage, are all going where the people are going. So that's generally leading us into the southeast. So our facilities are generally speaking from Maryland to Florida, and then over to Kentucky. We did pick up an outlier in Minnesota because it came to us through a friend in our network that we've known for 5 years, and we just kind of did a collaboration there, which we're happy to do.
Yeah. Do you guys self-manage, or do you always find a third party, or is it a mix?
Yeah, we're self-managed. We've got an operations team in-house. We've built a fantastic cutting edge technology management platform. You may have seen the news release recently that we have brought on to our team as Chief Operating Officer, Don Herzog, who came to us out of Life Storage, which was the fourth largest self-storage REIT in the country until they were acquired by Extra Space a year ago for $12 billion. So Don is a rock star. He's out of the U.S. Military Academy at West Point and is an Army veteran, so we're very proud of his service. But he has brought all of his fun little tools and tricks from his REIT Life Storage to Belrose Storage Group. So we're implementing those processes and technologies, and we're really helping. It's really helping us get to the next level.
Gotcha. You mentioned you look at acquisitions of less well-run self-storage. And so can you spot it right away when you start looking at I mean, are you basically comparing what you can get for a well-run facility versus what they're currently getting? And you're like, if we just apply our operations expertise, we could go from here to here. And it's like, no, you don't have to wait for the market to turn. There's nothing really you have to put in terms of capital. It's more about operations.
That's right. Yeah. So the facilities that we like to acquire are what we call mom and pop run facilities. So moms and pops, they don't really run it like a business. They're not going to the conferences. They're not implementing the latest technologies or business practices. So when we acquire these, a lot of times there's a lot of money just being left on the table. And one of the reasons is because these moms and pops, they have one big key performance indicator, KPI, and that is, are we full? All they care about is, are the units full? They don't care if they're getting the optimal rent. They just want their units full, because that way they don't have to worry about turnover. They don't have to worry about a marketing program. They don't have to worry about customer churn and everything that goes along with it, cleaning out units, etc. So what they do is they keep their rates artificially low, so it keeps their occupancy high, and then it's just not really much left for them to do. But we're not afraid of a little customer churn, because if we see that there's a big difference in what the street rates are, the market rates in that market versus what the mom and pop is charging, we're happy to go in there, raise the rates. That will cause us to lose some customers, but then we can replace those customers with higher paying customers, because we do have the back end operations and marketing engine where we can go out and find those new customers to fill those empty spaces.
Gotcha. Are you in pretty strong acquisition mode right now, just given where the market cycle is?
Yeah, we're very active, Val. In fact, we just sold a property last week, and the week before that we bought one. So we're we're buying and selling. We're very active. We do have two niches that we're really excited about in the self-storage space, where we're finding a lot of great deal flow. Actually, we wish we could find more. But one is boat and RV storage. So we look for markets and niches where there's a big supply and demand imbalance. So there are 400,000 RVs built every year, but there's only 20,000 new RV parking spots built every year. So you can see there's just a huge difference. You don't need to be a big demographer, a big analyst to see that. But so the opportunity there is to acquire these facilities, again, really push rates, because where's the customer going to go? And a lot of these new homeowners associations, these new housing developments that are popping up, these homeowners associations don't want boats or RVs parked there. So they have to find a place outside of the neighborhood to do that. So we have customers at our boat and RV facilities. They're driving 30 minutes, 45 minutes. They're driving an hour to get to our facility because they can't find one. They can't find a space closer to them. So there's a big opportunity there. And talk about mom and pop, in regular self-storage, what we call traditional or retail self-storage, you've heard of Public Storage, Extra Space, CubeSmart. You've heard of those big names, right? In boat and RV, there is no big name. The biggest competitor out there, they only own like 50 some boat and RV facilities, so there's no big dominant player. So it's a very wide open opportunity that we're looking to exploit. And then the second one is the second niche within the self-storage niche that we're really excited about is what we call pro storage. So pro storage is more for business owners, for contractors, for landscapers, electricians, carpenters that need a larger space to run their business. So instead of a 10 by 10 unit with an 8-foot roll-up door, these are 18 by 25 units with a 14-foot roll-up door and a 20-foot ceiling. So they can pull their van right in there. They can pull their truck right in there. they can keep their important tools and materials in there so they can really run their business. A lot of contractors got screwed during COVID when all those cargo ships were stuck out in the ocean. They couldn't get their materials on shore. And so a lot of these projects ended up getting extended. It made these contractors look really bad. I can tell you from firsthand experience, we were expanding a self-storage facility and we couldn't get our materials. And so anyway, we ran into all kinds of problems. So now these contractors are stockpiling their materials so they're not going to be subject to any supply chain disruptions in the future. And furthermore, you've heard of like these last mile distributors, Amazon's all over the place. So they're acquiring these like 15 to 30,000 square foot flex spaces, which is where these kinds of contractors used to be able to find homes. But now with these last mile distributors coming in and taking up all those spaces and pushing up the rents for those spaces, these smaller onesie twosie contractors can't find a space to run their business out of. So we're finding, again, that big supply and demand imbalance in that niche within the self-storage niche, because there's just not a lot of this type of unit available in most markets.
Can they work out of that unit, or do they have, or is it only storage? Can they like cut things up and work, or
They
how
they
does
can
that
do
work?
a little bit of work. They're technically depends on the municipality, Val, but they're typically not allowed to run their business out of the unit. We provide them with electricity, with electrical outlets, but that's about it. There's no like plumbing or air conditioning or
Yeah.
anything like that in there, so it's not necessarily where they can 100% run their business out of it.
We have a client that he was saying the difference between pro self storage, like you're talking about, and being able to work out of it is like a bathroom. Like he was like, if I add a bathroom,
Right.
plumbing, I guess, now they can actually stay in there and work out of that unit. But it's interesting how it's very similar. Like it's not that far off from a working flex unit to a pro self storage unit. But is that would you say that's the main difference? Is the plumbing and the
Yeah, for
bathroom
sure. And
access and
again, it kind of goes back to, I mean, the demand in the market, and also how easy the municipality is to work with. A lot of municipalities are challenging to work with in terms of, fitting out this type of unit. And again, if you really letting them run their business out of there, then you're running into business licensing things. So, each municipality has kind of its own little quirks here and there
yeah,
that'll push us in one direction or another. But yeah, we've looked at this type of space for a while. We've looked at several deals in the past where there was like an office and a bathroom component with like storage in the back kind of thing, and we were never able to get the numbers to pencil out on those for our
um,
modeling. But looking back, 2020 hindsight, we probably should have stretched to grab those because they're in so much demand now.
yeah. I guess final question, what are you seeing in terms of cap rates, in terms of like going in cap rates, residual cap rates? How are you with the interest rates kind of fluctuating? What are you kind of underwriting?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it was no surprise, when the interest rates started going through the roof last year. We could see that was coming. Obviously, tons of money had been printed. We're in this odd period in time, and so way back then we started using higher exit cap rates for our exit assumptions when we're doing our modeling, and so we were pushing those up to like the 7.5 range, I want to say. And of course, it varies market to market, but just generally speaking, we like to see that kind of 200 basis point spread between where current interest rates are and where we and our going in cap rate. But like I was saying earlier, a lot of these facilities are not run very well, so we tend to, I don't want to say disregard, but we don't put a lot of weight on our going in cap rate because it's based on the mom and pop financials that just don't really reflect the true profitability of the facility, at least the ones that we buy. I mean, we say no a lot, but the ones that we do end up closing on and buying, those are the ones where we can see in our year one cap rate is going to be in a really nice spot, maybe 8 or 9%. So and we're still able to